Hello, what is going on, everybody? I know you're happy to see my face again after the mid-season series. 12 tracks, 13 weeks because we skipped the week in between tracks 1 through 6, and then but we are back, regularly scheduled, and this is gonna be the first week, y'all. We start the after show, so be prepared for that. Okay, I have been kind of teasing at it, and you saw the logo and you saw everything for that. So this is the first week we do an after show. So we're thinking, how does that work? So moving on from every season for the rest of the time, I hope. Well, at least this season. Let's just keep it here for now. But at least with this season, what will happen is after the mid-season series until the end of the season, every Sunday at 5:30 p.m. Central, I will be joined by another podcaster, YouTuber, content creator of any sort. And in some cases, it actually may even be the guest from that episode. And we'll kind of just recap the episode, things we liked, different takeaways, even things we didn't like, things we meant to say, we forgot to say, and also just kind of give our take on what's going on in the world at that time. So it'll be something different and unique, and something I want to keep, always adding to my show every season that I can. Okay, so going on to today's title. All right, today's is going to be a good one, leaving off the album with the whole new outlook. And 6A, that's the first part of the season, was one way. 6B is going to be a little different. The title of today's episode is How to Make the World Aware of Your Passion. The meme reads, everyone isn't aware of your passion. It is your job to make sure that they are. All right. Inspiration for today comes from just me being a person who I have a lot of different passions, a lot of different things that I want the world to know about. And I'm a firm believer that a lot of times you have that passion for a reason. Things happen to you because you're the person that is used as the messenger in a sense, and we'll get into that as we go along. So before I keep on talking, I've been ranting for a little bit now. Let me go ahead and introduce my guest. Tell the people what your name is, where you're from, and what you do for a living.
Hi, I am Christina Flach, and I am the creator and CEO of Pretty Girl Makeup, and I am also a celebrity makeup artist.
Okay, celebrity makeup artist, y'all. So if you are a celebrity, you know what to do. Um, so before we get into all of that, two things. When you hear the word awareness, what is the first thing that comes to mind?
Awareness, something that you're aware of that you want other people to be aware of, right?
Okay.
Or
And
you
when
want to inspire people to be aware of, right?
okay. And when you hear the word passion, what is the first thing that comes to mind?
My work.
All right. So I went ahead to dictionary.com, as y'all know how I do. And the definition of awareness is knowledge or perception of a situation or fact. And then passion is a state or outburst of strong emotion. So before we get into the next segment, you said that you are a celebrity makeup artist. How long have you been doing that?
I have been doing that over 20 years. Long
Oh, okay.
time. Yeah,
You are a veteran in the game.
I am.
Okay.
Been doing it a long time. I love it. I love my job. I was in Denver yesterday. I flew into Denver Monday, and yesterday was Tuesday, and I had a photo shoot with Fox. We're doing a show on conspiracy. There's a weird conspiracy theory about the Denver airport. It's got all this crazy history to it. So that was
Oh,
fun
wow.
yesterday. And then I flew home last night, and here I am today, trying not to look tired.
Well, look, you're doing a good job. You don't look tired.
Okay.
All right. So let's get into what this has to do with mental health. So, as with today's topic, and we have a lot to unpack today because I feel like my guest today is versatile, and there's a lot of different things I want to cover. So, before we get into that, you said that you are an advocate for sepsis, correct?
Correct, I am.
So, can you tell the people exactly what that is?
Sepsis is an infection of the blood that attacks all your vital organs if you are not seen and treated in a timely fashion. So it's not like the common cold or the flu where you think, oh, if I'll feel better tomorrow, if I don't feel better tomorrow, I'll go to the doctor. Sepsis doesn't work that way. Sepsis, there is a time frame that you need to be seen and treated with an IV antibiotic. And if you are not, it attacks all your vital organs and they shut down and you die.
Wow.
Yeah, it's real.
Okay. How did you become an advocate for sepsis?
I was married to Ken Flach. He was a professional, the former number one doubles tennis player in the world with his partner Rob Seguso. And we were married for 8 years, and he caught a cold and it turned into bronchitis. And we called the doctors at Kaiser Permanente here in California. And we spoke to an advice nurse 13 minutes, then his doctor for 3, and they didn't see him. They did not give him an antibiotic. They gave him cough medicine with codeine and an inhaler. And I know we all think, oh, good, I'm going to get cough medicine with codeine and sleep and feel better in the morning. No, if you have an infection at any place in your body, what happens is it will, and with the cough medicine with codeine, it slows your breathing down and the infection grows like a wildfire and it attacks all your vital organs. And if you're not seen, there's no turning back. You can't turn it back no matter what treatment you're on. So it's super important for your listeners to go to sepsis.org if they want to find out more. And they can scroll down and they're going to see a little diagram that says time. And what time is, T is for temperature. You can be either hot or very cold. I is for infection in some place in your body, whether it be an infected tooth or a cut or bronchitis. And then M is for mental decline. You're kind of hard to rouse. It's because it's affecting your mind. And E is for excruciating pain. You feel like you're dying because you are. It's not like, you know how you feel when you have a cold or flu. You know how your body normally feels. This is a different feeling. So you really need to be aware of, listening to your body and the different signs. And if you think that something's not right, go get another opinion. But all you need to do is get a blood test and they'll know immediately, like within 20 minutes, whether you're septic. And if they think you are, they'll put you on an IV antibiotic.
Wow, that's a deep story, and so early in the episode. I want
We just
to
get on it.
we own it, right? So I first want to say I applaud you for being an advocate for that. It's unfortunate, kind of, as I said in the beginning, sometimes things happen to us so that we can help other people. So of course, I want to just send my condolences to you for having to, deal with that. And it's one of those things where it's like, it's horrible, but it's still a beauty in it, because now that you're spreading awareness to it, maybe you didn't let somebody know who's listening to this, like, oh, let me go get checked out. And even if it isn't sepsis, to just go get checked out. I've been an advocate of that prior to even starting my podcast, just as someone who at least goes to the doctor once a year, especially as a man. Men don't like going to the doctor. No matter what age or race. They just
I don't know what's in you men, that in your DNA, that you guys don't like going to doctors.
And see, I'm scary. I have to go at least once a year. I've just seen too many cases where people wait too long and now they got to get surgery. And it's
good. It's definitely good. Health is so incredibly important, and I don't take it for granted. I eat really well. I make sure I get a lot of sleep, drink a lot of water, a lot of green juice. And I think it's, exercise is super important. And I think everyone needs to be a little more conscious of how they treat their body and not be shocked when you don't eat well, don't rest, don't exercise, drink too much, do drugs, and you wonder why you've got some whacked out cancer, or why you've gained 100 pounds, and why you have diabetes, and all these whys. It's like, duh, your body can only, take abuse for so long before it starts giving you signals that people often ignore. And then, then you're sick.
And then the other one that you said, those are the serious cases. But then it's the other one, like, why do you look so old? You this age, you like in your 20s, and you look like you about 50, because it's just the horrible go lifestyle. Don't sleep, don't eat right. And then it's just like, and a few weeks ago, we talked about what happens when they call it the grown man or grown woman weight kicks in, which seems to kicks in. Well, I was told, my parents said that weight that you get as an adult kicks in your mid 30s. I said, this generation, it didn't came early. It didn't hit some of us, not me, but some of us at like 25. And I'm like, but it's just the lifestyle. And I think that a lot of times
people are really inactive. They're not exercising as much. They're not doing as much. They're sitting around. on their computers or on their phones. They're not getting outside and running around, and they're not eating well. Our culture shows, let's have a huge, huge monster Big Mac and jumbo fries and all this junk. And, it's promoting bad health. So that's what happens. It's not, rocket science. It's pretty basic.
Very. Now, so we kind of got some information about sepsis. So first of all, where have you spoken, obviously today, but where else have you spoken publicly about sepsis?
Oh my gosh, all over. I've been on the Doctor Channel. I've been on hundreds of podcasts, TV, Fox, NBC. I've been on a bunch of different networks talking about raising awareness for sepsis. The Tennis Channel. Yeah, anyone that would like to hear me speak, I speak.
Good. That's good. So I got a source that's according to NHS Inform, it says in some cases symptoms of more severe sepsis or septic shock. It says when your blood pressure drops to a dangerously low level, as you stated, develop. It says this can include feeling dizzy or faint or a change in mental state like confusion or disorientation. So that's interesting because that's literally exactly what you said. And you just said it two different ways. But it's just crazy because like I think a lot of times people will have the dizzy thing. I was dizzy once. It was something I took that made me dizzy. And I was like sprinting to the doctor.
Right.
It was, I can't remember what it was. It was like some herbs my mom gave me. And I like didn't do it right. And I took too many of them and I was like woozy and I was thinking I was about to die. So
I'm sorry, it's not funny, but it's
yes, it is.
funny.
But I thought I was about to die. Like, and this is what killed me. So I remember
It didn't kill you. Thank God. You're here.
So I remember telling her, I said, I feel dizzy, I'm like woozy. She said, well, maybe you just still a little drunk. I said, no. And she kept saying that that's what it was. And I'm like, no, it's not. Like, I've been drunk plenty of times. This ain't it.
Oh my God. Don't you kid? Is that the best? Your mom's telling you you're drunk.
And this was like what? 4 years? This was like 4 years ago. And I was like, really, lady?
Oh my God. I can hear my kids telling me that too. They call me lady sometimes. It cracks me
up. So, well, you said you've been all over because my next question was, how often do you host panels or discussions about sepsis? Or do you have like a fund or like a campaign thing that you have going on that people can support and know more about?
Well, you can always go to sepsis.org and donate money there. But I've also started 2 educational funds at the Northern Lights School in Oakland, California. One for my son, Bo, and one for Ken. And so there's the Baby Bo Fund and the Ken Flach Educational Fund. And it's a private school predominantly for minority children that are all there on scholarship. And so the school's run on grants and donations. And there's a golf tournament that Vita Blue puts on every year. And my son, Ben, has been playing it for, I think it's his 5th year. And this past October, he raised $36,000.
Oh, okay.
He's raised over $100,000 for his brother and his daddy's foundations. And so I'm really proud about that. I feel like it's such a blessing for such a young man to be raising money to help others. And I think because he's done it for such a long time, it's just something he does. It's not, and I hope that he continues doing it for all my kids have done it, not just Ben, but all of them. And so I love that they're such generous people with their time.
That's good. That's amazing to hear. We love to see that, especially from the younger generation. I think this younger generation now, I think we kind of got something going as, I think it can be, it's either like really bad or really good. It's not really in between, but when it's really good, it's good. So, okay, cool. So my next question is, and this really doesn't have to do with anything with sepsis, but it's just kind of just a question really. How do you feel about people who spread awareness for things for selfish reasons? Or what do you think of that?
Well, like what would be if I don't know. I mean, if it's going to help others and it's for the greater good, like, I don't know, how is that selfish? Like, I do this, it does nothing to it. You know what's selfish? It makes me feel good that I'm able to help others. It helps me. I think it's something that brings me joy. And I feel that if I can do something positive to make the world a better place, I think it's my obligation to do morally.
Okay. I like that answer. That's the perfect answer, actually. There's not multiple choice. I didn't have but it was a good
Woo!
but it was a good answer. Okay, so now let's move into the weekly sabbatical. Now,
Okay.
this is a segment where we just kind of reflect and just kind of, so my question is, how did you get into makeup?
Well, I don't even know how I got into makeup. I was pretty much a tomboy when I was growing up, but my mom had brain cancer when I was growing up, and she was
Mm,
going out on a date with my dad, and I wanted to make her look like how she used to look. And so she didn't have a lot of makeup products, but I miraculously made her look and feel like her old self. And what really stuck with me was that how it just changed how she felt. Besides that, I thought she looked really beautiful. I just thought it was so great to bring someone some joy. And so that's one of the things that I love of my job is transforming people and looking like the best versions of themselves. I love that. That's fun. I mean, obviously, it's fun that I get to work on these TV shows and work with different fashion houses and these celebrities. It's so fun, and I travel all over the place. But uh, I love I love making people look different, like they have never seen. That's actually more fun than it's equally as fun as I've worked with Condoleezza Rice and you know Bobby Flay and Tyler Florence and Hilary Swank. I've worked with Gucci, Louis Vuitton, all these amazing people and fashion houses. And it's fun working with as a team with
mhm.
all these different people. But it's also fun working with just different brides or different people that want to learn how to look like the best versions of themselves. So I love that.
And that's good because I think that in a sense with those positions like the makeup artists and things, a lot of times it's kind of like the best of both worlds because it's like you kind of in the industry, but you don't have to deal with all the negative sides. Like it's like you around those people, you get to see, you don't sit with the shows and all of those different things, but you don't have to deal with like the public eye as like the person who's like makeup you're actually doing. So
That's true.
with that,
That's the blessing of my job. I like being in the last 4 years since Ken passed, I've become much more public and speak more. But I'm a makeup artist because I like being behind the camera. And
mhm,
so one of the things that I've learned, I don't know, I guess one of the blessings, I guess, is that I've learned to become comfortable to speaking publicly. It was not something that came naturally to me,
mhm,
but now I'm able to do these interviews and hopefully make the world a better place and raise awareness for sepsis and help people grieve in a positive way. I don't think you need to be an old woman wearing a black veil and crying and miserable. You know, I think that you can find love again, and I think because I have children, I can't be walking around miserable. And with my job, it's not one of those jobs that anyone's going to want to be around me or hire me if I'm depressed and angry and in a bad mood. So, and
right.
it's kind of in my nature. I'm a really happy person. I'm always pretty much in a good mood all the time, and feeling in a bad mood or angry doesn't feel right to me. It just isn't my natural state.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I definitely think, like I said, you're doing a good job. You spreading awareness, and I just think that even with doing makeup, I always wonder, like, I feel like, so like, do you when you doing that makeup, do you like be cracking jokes and stuff with them? Because I feel like you do.
Oh yeah. Well, it depends. It depends who I'm working with. I have to figure out literally in 3 seconds if the client wants quiet, if they want to talk to me, or if they want me to talk to them. So I have to learn to read people pretty well. And some of my clients, I did a show with Isaiah Washington, and sometimes he really wanted to chat, and other times he wanted quiet, and I have to respect that. All my clients are like that. Some days they're in good moods, and when you're doing a TV series, every day is different. So there's lots of times we're laughing and joking, but then there's times that they're doing conference calls while I do their makeup, and they want quiet. So I have to be respectful of people's emotions and feelings. So that's
Yeah.
part of reading my clients' needs emotionally. It's not just physically.
Right. And so one of my friends, she's actually a makeup artist, and she talks about how sometimes, always in a person's face or just dealing with people so close all the time can be draining. Sometimes it can be a little draining. So do you have days where you like just decompress and just kind of like, whew, I just need to be by myself? Because I know she has hers.
So she's right. I have, I think what it is you're in such close proximity for so many hours with someone, you kind of take on their energy. So at the end of the day, I mean, I kind of put a shield up at the beginning of the day, and then during the day, a shield up of like energetic protection. And then at the end of the day, yesterday when I did a shoot all day long and we were on our feet. I was tired when I got on that plane, and when I got in the car, when the driver picked me up to take me home, I was really tired. But I slept, and I'm fine. I really try to stay on my normal schedule. Like yesterday when I was in Denver, I woke up at 6 and I worked out in the gym. I did some yoga in my room. So by the time it was like I had to be down in the lobby at 8:30, I've already had like my tea, my vitamins, worked out, showered, and I'm ready to go. So I have to really kind of stay in a good physical place to be in a good mental place to do my job, if that makes sense.
Right. No, definitely. It makes sense. It makes sense. That's why I was just asking, because I wondered, it just would seem that way, but I didn't want to assume. So I'm glad I
No, it's
asked.
true. And funny, a friend of mine, she's a makeup artist in LA, and Melanie, and she taught me long ago. She's got Emmys and she's been on all these shows, but she said, at the end of the day, you need to go home and shower your clients off because their energy is all over you. So sometimes people's energy is really light, sometimes it's heavy, but you do need a minute to kind of, I don't know, it just depends on the day. Some days are super easy and it doesn't feel like a big deal, but then there's other days like it's just exhausting, and you're just emotionally drained as well as physically because you're on your feet all day. And yesterday we didn't have any lunch breaks, or we didn't take a break. We were just, because we're filming in the airport. So we're, maneuvering travelers, and the Denver airport is so big and it's so busy and there's so many people. So that was just, and all their energy around you. I mean, I know that may seem weird to people that
No, it don't.
Yeah. Like, I mean, their security area, it's very weird. The airport has their security. It's like, you can see everybody. It's like a maze. And then there's like, railings. There's like an upper area and then a lower area, but you can see it. And it's just like, you see these thousands and thousands and thousands of people walking around. It's just a lot of energy. So maybe that's why I felt a little drained more than normal, because it wasn't just my client. I was dealing with all these people that were surrounding us all day.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm a firm believer. People think I'm crazy, and I'll be like, that energy is off. It's something in that area. I don't need to be over there right now.
Right? Oh, no. And it's so funny because until you start feeling confident, and it's great that you're able to know your feelings and trust your intuition. But a lot of times people feel that, they're hearing these voices in their head and they're crazy, or, their intuition's telling them like, don't go down that road, and you do. And then there's a problem. You have to learn to trust your gut and trust those voices in your head. They're your angels watching over you. And sometimes they're telling you like, don't do it. So it's important to, trust what voices you hear. And if you have a feeling, go with it. If you feel like you shouldn't do something, don't do it, because it's happening for a reason,
Yeah, definitely.
It's important to trust yourself.
Absolutely. I'm a firm believer
When
of
was the last time that happened to you, that you heard something, that you had a feeling like something wasn't good, and then did you do it or did you not do it?
Okay, well, I say, I'm gonna say it like this. I feel like God has a way of like letting me know things are gonna happen before they do sometimes, and I've always been able to discern very well with people. Even as a kid, I would be like, something is off about this place, those people, and then I would be even about a friend, and I'll be like, oh, maybe I'm tripping, and then boom, something will happen. So last year, I've had some of those discerning moments, and it was some time when I was around people, I'm like, something's not right. And before, I said, I've been down this road a million times, I'm gonna listen now. So I just kind of distanced myself from those people, and then it was just like a fireworks show, just like boom, boom, boom. It was something happening almost
So
every day.
did that after that happened, now do you not doubt yourself? Now, do you just like go, oh, I'm having that feeling and I go with it?
Absolutely. Because I believe I'm a perfect.
I really hope that you do, because the universe is telling you something, and I really hope that you're listening, because you're very intuitive, obviously. And so I love that you hear these things and you trust yourself now. And I think the more you trust yourself, the more confident you are in hearing those, those intuitions, or, the universe or God, or, whatever it is that tells us these things.
Yeah, definitely. I told you, I said, I was like, Lord, son, I said, I done been down this road 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times. I said, nope. I said, look, I said, Jesus, I'm gone. I ain't even gonna play with it. Y'all got it.
Yeah.
Now, with the makeup artist, being a makeup artist, not the makeup artist, but do you sometimes feel that the market is a little oversaturated, or do you feel like, come on, everybody, we can all do it? How do you feel?
I feel both. Sometimes
Mhm.
I feel like it's totally saturated. And then other times I think, well, we just, if I could get 1% of that market, I will be really successful. So I have mixed feelings.
Mixed feelings. Okay. So the main thing here is because obviously I think that she is a woman who she spreads awareness in two different ways. So obviously with sepsis, which is, a little heavier, a little deep, and then the other half is the makeup, being a makeup artist.
Right.
And that's still awareness as her showing, um bringing awareness to something, two different things, because at the end of the day, both technically can feed you, but one definitely feeds you and you've been doing it for 20 plus years, so clearly you're doing something right.
Right.
But for those of us who, especially my target audience, which is, us young millennials who feel like, how do I go about bringing awareness to something? Because you see me doing this with my podcast and my other stuff, and you see how she's doing it. You might be like, I don't know how to go about it. So I have some ways you can do it. So from an article called 12 Ways to Skyrocket Awareness for a Cause. Now, we don't have time for all 12, but I picked a few that I think that were the most important. And she's going to kind of piggyback off of the research that I have. So
Okay.
the first one says host fundraising events. It says a fundraising event can help boost both awareness and donations. This could be something you organize alone or a part of a larger event organized by others. Perhaps an art exhibition or a sporting event. Hosting events where people can meet in person can help you build a real community around your cause. There's no shortage of winning fundraising event ideas. I think that's great. Everybody loves a party. I think it's,
True.
if you can do an event where it's raising money and it's a party, I think people will love it, or a nice brunch.
Yes.
Um, it's organized educational events. People love to learn about stuff, and you just never know. In her case, you can do it both ways, as far as people, upcoming makeup artists who want to learn some tips and tricks, and then of course with sepsis, people who just want to know, who are just curious about it, or have had somebody who has passed from it, or had was sick from it, because
Right.
everyone doesn't pass. So
Not everyone does. It's very curable if you're treated in time. Yes.
and that's the point we keep making. Go get tested. Go to the doctor.
Go to the
Don't wait till it's too late.
Yes.
Third one is pretty easy. It says be consistent. It says the key to making your cause easiest to recognize is keeping your imagery and wording consistent. Always use the same image or logo for profile pictures, and make sure your call to action doesn't vary. Have them do the same thing every time. The fourth one, it says boost social media awareness. This does not mean create fake pages, because for some reason, I don't know what is going on with Instagram. It's a fake page every day.
Really?
I don't want to trade Bitcoin. I don't
No,
want.
that's so annoying. Ugh. I'm gonna ever take, financial advice from some guy I don't know on Bitcoin on Instagram. Like, who? I can't believe anyone would actually do that. I mean, that's crazy. So
And
if
I feel
you,
bad.
it,
I feel bad for my friends that keep losing their pages. I don't know what they're
heard
doing.
about that. I have a friend that's an artist in LA, and he can't get onto his page. And then my daughter is she's a fashion designer, and she's like getting, it's crazy. It's like you really have to be mindful, like not to, if, you get a text or something on WhatsApp or on thing, don't click anything unless it's someone because that's when they can get in your bank accounts. I've heard awful stories, but I totally agree with you about, I own a makeup company called Pretty Girl, and so that's what I'm always saying. It's got to be consistent. The goal, what our target market is, how we show the colors. It's very consistent, and it is super important that consistency. And you want it to be fun and bright and happy. I want it to be positive, and I think what I do brings joy, hopefully, to my clients and my customers.
Absolutely. It then says the same source. It just says create accounts for your cause on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Start engaging with people in related communities. I'm really big on that, related communities. Not everybody wants what you have to offer, and that's okay, but it's somebody that does. And
Right.
then it says try sparking thoughtful conversations about your cause by asking questions or giving feedback. The next one says make a viral video challenge. I haven't done that. Maybe I should try it. And then the last one for this says write a press release. It says learn how to write a press release to raise awareness for your cause. You can submit press release to sites such as PR Newswire. Include eye-catching photos to increase the chances of getting your story featured. That's a trick or
I've done
trick.
that. I've done that a lot.
And how does it work? It works really well.
It does.
Okay, so
You
I
want
got
to make
something I
sure
gotta try.
you do it on a Monday. You don't want to do it on a Friday because it gets lost over the weekend. So just do it on actually a Tuesday is probably better.
All right, good info. I'm gonna have to try that. So, what would you say to anybody who feels like their passion isn't important or that someone wouldn't care?
Okay. First of all, if it's your passion, it doesn't matter what anyone thinks. You have to love it. I've told my kids, figure out what you love doing so much that you don't care if you don't get paid, and then figure out how to get paid. And that's what I've done. I love being a makeup artist. I love to travel. I love having my makeup company. And I just have a goal, and it's failure's not an option. And I just think it's super important. You have to love what you do. If you don't love your job, then get another job. And I don't feel like there's mistakes in life. I think the failure is not trying. Failure is not taking the step to reach your goals. Failure is sitting in a job that you hate, or living in a place you don't like, or being stuck in a relationship that's toxic. That's a failure. But
Right.
a success, they're all learning lessons, and they take you to your next step. They're going to take you to somewhere else. And so I'm not afraid of failure. I'm afraid of not trying. That's, getting stagnant. I think you have to get uncomfortable for there to be change. There's not going to be change, and it gets a little bumpy sometimes. But if one thing doesn't, I've had to do that. I've had my makeup company since 1999. It's for a long time, and I've had to make changes a lot. And the makeup industry's changed, and there was no Facebook, there was no Instagram, there were no influencers. You dealt with magazine editors, beauty editors, and celebrities and publicists, and so it's changed, and you just have to kind of go with the change. And it gets uncomfortable, but you just do something different. And there's nothing wrong with trying. You never know what's going to work. That's the thing with having a makeup company, or I can only speak about that because that's what I have.
Right.
You don't know what is going to work. Like I remember I was in InStyle magazine once, and I thought, oh, I'm going to make $1 billion, and it didn't. And then I was in this tiny little newspaper with like a little 4-sentence little piece on me in this newspaper in Minnesota, and I made more money in a week than I made in an entire quarter. So it's just, you never know what's going to work. So you have to keep trying different things until you find something that does work, and then try and keep making change. And I bring people on to work with me that are good at what they do. I am not a TikToker. I am not an Instagrammer. I hire people that are, and I let them do their job. I don't sit and micromanage. I've hired people and I want them to feel comfortable to come to me with an idea, and they do. And I'll send them content of different, photo shoots I'm on, or, of different photos of content, or I get them more
Right.
product, and I let them do their job. And I think that's a way to have, your team be happy, and I can focus on things that I need to focus on with my company, not Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and all that. Like, that's not where my brain needs to be. My brain needs to be on other things that are more important, like raising money, creating new products, doing things like that, writing magazine articles or doing interviews. I was on NBC last week on a show called California Live, and I did makeover on TV and talked about, when is makeup, need to be tossed? Like, how long does it last for? Is there an expiration date? So that's the kind of thing that I try to put my focus on, because that's
Right.
where I can excel and I shine in doing those things.
But see, what you saying all that, I learned it in a podcast course, and that's why you said, well, I can only speak on makeup, but a lot of stuff you saying is stuff that relates to anybody who's following their dreams or their passions. Because I know in the podcast course, we learned, like how you said, well, I have to pay people for this because I can't do it and I don't have time for it. Well, you didn't do anything but delegate. That's what you're supposed to do, because they tell us, like, don't try to do everything because you would drive yourself crazy. So I'm an advocate, like, okay, my videos, I don't know how to edit that. I can do the audio all day. Send
Right.
it to somebody, you do it,
Right.
because I don't have time for it.
That's true.
So
I agree.
now with that, and we had this great spiel about that, right? And we both, kind of tag team that. Now, here's what I will say. When you're passionate about something, be okay with people not being passionate about that. I briefly discussed that earlier. So
Right.
with that, you see the commercials, and I'm an animal lover person, all that good stuff. You see the sad commercial with the dogs and the cats and they're crying. I personally don't want a dog with 3 legs. That's me. Somebody does. Somebody does.
Somebody does, and thank God there are those people that do. I don't want a dog that has 3 legs. My dog's sitting right here, and my dog is a prince. He just sits here and, lives a very good life. I'll just say that.
I'm not interested in collecting beetles.
No.
But somebody does. And I want you to be okay with that.
Everyone should it's great that everyone has their niche in life, and there's someone for everyone and there's something for everyone. It may not be for us. And then you just have to figure out who your market is and what your people are.
Right.
It is interesting to hear these different things, though, about different things that maybe I'm not aware of. Like, I watched a documentary yesterday while I was doing yoga in my hotel room on bison getting pregnant, artificially inseminated. It was not something I would normally put on, but I thought, kind of interesting to see how that goes. So, and then they had a snake on there. I hate snakes, but it was interesting to see how they had to give a snake an antibiotic. It was never anything that showed any interest to me at all, but actually it was something that I wasn't comfortable watching, but it was very enlightening and I learned something. So sometimes you have to kind of get out of your comfort zone of what I find fascinating. You don't know you don't love bison until you try it, or you didn't know you loved ice cream until you tried it the first time. So I think it is good to get push yourself in directions that aren't always in your norm to learn something new, or at least be open to it. I try to be open to things.
Yeah. I don't like snake animals or people, but, I get what you're saying. And that's the thing too, what you're saying, that because it was something, I can't think of it right now. I'll think of it once we get off here. It was something I watched and I was like, it was just on and I was just like, this is kind of interesting. But that's happened a few times actually.
Yeah, so it's kind of good. I think we become much more interesting as people when we learn something new that is not in our world. I don't want to hear about fashion and makeup and beauty all day long. It gets like a little tiresome. I want to know about something out of what I do in my world. Because I think, I want to be able to be a little bit more, I want to have something to say to people that aren't always going to want to hear about fashion and beauty. There are other topics in the world.
I'm a firm believer that I get tired of, I'm not going to say the same people, but I've always had different groups of like people around me because I need some versatility. And you got to talk about something different. And,
When's your birthday? I'm just curious.
Oh, my birthday is June 16th.
So you're a Cancer?
Well, no, what was it? It was like, when you seen the meme, it said, "What's your sign?" I'm a sign from God. But the zodiac sign, according to that, I think is Gemini. I don't keep up with zodiac.
Oh, you're a Gemini. Okay, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so let's move into the final segment for the day. All right, game time. In this game, it's a simple title. It's called the awareness game. So I'm gonna name a few different things, and she's gonna tell me whether or not she would be interested in it or not. It's
Okay.
no, yes, somebody might be, but she might. Yeah.
Well, let's see if she is.
Okay.
Let's see.
All right. The first one. Are you aware? Would you like to be aware if there are black bears in the neighborhood?
Yeah, I would like to know that for various reasons. I would find it interesting, and I'd also want to be, to be careful not to let my dog run around without a leash. So yes.
I saw a video, this is random. I live in Houston, so I saw a video one time of a little puppy. It was on the porch, and it was a video of a eagle striking down. It
Oh,
didn't, it almost got it. It gripped it, and then the puppy fell out, and then it ran in the house, but it almost got
there you go.
it. Would you like to know about a cockroach eating contest?
No, hell no.
Would you like to be aware of a new TV show featuring yourself?
Oh my gosh. I don't know. I don't think I want to have a TV show of my life. My public life's enough public. I don't need to bring in. I don't think my family or my boyfriend or my kids would be into it at all. In fact, I know they would they would all leave me. I'd be on the show by myself. I'd have no one with me because they wouldn't want anything to do with it.
That's funny. Would like to be aware of a new food item at your favorite restaurant?
Absolutely.
Would you want to be aware of a free trip if you had to listen to a 3-hour seminar and give $1,000 a month?
Hell no. No.
Before we get to the last one, real quick. So, like, when you go out and travel, do you ever have down days where you can just kind of enjoy like the city you're in, or it's always like, no, you got to go?
No, I did. I got to Denver on Monday afternoon, and the weather, it was like 90 degrees. It was beautiful. And I just put on my running shoes, and I went on a 5-mile run around the city, and I explored, and I found like this cool river, and I ran by the river, and then I went out and had a really nice dinner by myself. And I watched a J-Lo documentary on Netflix. I had a great day.
How was it?
It was really good. It was better than I thought. See, that was something I was like, oh God, this is going to be so boring. But it actually was really interesting. I like her. So I've never met her. I haven't worked with her, but I liked, she's worked really hard for where she has gotten in life. And that's someone that just left her house at 18 and became a dancer and then an actress and a singer. I mean, that woman has worked her tail off to get where she is. I really admire that. And that was her passion, and she was determined. Failure was not an option. So it's actually very inspiring.
Okay. I'm gonna have to check it out. And then finally, would you like for people to be aware of CEO Pretty Girl Makeup?
Oh, I would like that very much.
All right, good stuff. All right, so let's get into the question and challenge. And obviously, this is for y'all to make sure my audience to tap into and participate. Do you have a passion that you want to make people aware of? If so, make sure you answer on Instagram or DM or through the little question box. And then I challenge you to do a solo post on your social media about it. So even if whatever it is, okay. This has been a great conversation.
Thank you for having me today. It's been such
Yes, thank you for coming. Anything you want to leave the audience with?
My partner Jordan and I would like to offer 25% discount on prettygirlmakeup.com with the discount code prettygirl, all one word.
Okay, so she's gonna send me an email of all of that so I can put it in a bio for when this episode drops. And that's pretty much it. So I thank you for coming through, and I thank y'all as always for listening. PSA signing out. Always remember, keep your head up like your neck hurt. Remember who you are and make your mind up. Don't let it make you.